Hey, welcome to Reaching Out Ministries. This is our Monday night healing and deliverance class. This is the group that we have. It's a little more intimate. And we can discuss things and much more options for responses. So, one of the things as we go through, we have the coronavirus and the George Floyd protests and Black Lives Matters and all of that stuff going on in our lives, and how do we respond to it, and how do we respond to other people, with that. So I'm going to open up some questions. How is the coronavirus affecting you?
I could really think some of it's a hoax, because listening to TV, I don't think they got the numbers right. Because it's always different numbers, you hear.
You wonder how many people are actually dying from the coronavirus or other causes that are listed, like from guns or from cancers or the natural flu or anything else,
Right.
You wonder if they're just lumping it in with the coronavirus and saying that
Right.
Joe Blow died of this, and
And there's a lot of politicians that play with the numbers because the higher the numbers, the more federal funding that they get. Now I've heard from somebody, this was down in Miami, the same thing, that there were some medical people that were being forced to record deaths as coronavirus related. And, I heard that there in Miami, and then out in Washington State, completely other end of the country, from some other medical people, and I heard the exact same thing, about the numbers. But,
I don't really see any proof, it's just what I hear. Can it be hearsay?
So, part of this question too is, how does it affect you? How do you feel about the coronavirus?
I've got a friend that says that why are people worried about, masks or not going to such and such a restaurant close to town here, because we don't have any fear. And she says, well, don't you have any faith? Then what the people are telling her is wrong, because we should be wearing a mask, but then where's the faith? And so I said to her, well, that's if you don't want to wear a mask, that's your thing, but you're protecting yourself and others. And she says, well, then they have no faith, because my kids and I don't believe that or think that, because we have faith, and the people are telling us this don't have none.
I don't fear it. I wear a mask if I have to in that building, otherwise I don't wear one. I just don't fear it. I don't think about it. It's fear that you shouldn't fear.
Right, I think there's a tremendous amount of fear.
I think that's the
Tremendous
biggest
amount
problem.
of fear. And
I see people driving with masks and I just shake my head and say, that's ridiculous.
Driving with a mask is wrong.
And they're having coronavirus parties
Yep.
where they go to parties to share the coronavirus, to get infected, purposely.
Where is this at?
In Florida,
Oh.
this is where this was reported, and there was one man who went to one, and I think he was 45 years old, and he got the coronavirus, and he ended up dying. But just before he died, he said, I thought this was all a hoax,
Right.
and I guess I made a mistake.
I wouldn't go looking for it,
Right.
There you go. Now now that's the same response we get when, me as a missionary, I go into troubled areas, and they, aren't you afraid for your life? And I don't have a death wish. And so that's what you're
You don't
saying.
fear it.
I don't have a death wish. I'm not going out to, because I want to
You
die.
don't fear it. I don't fear it.
But, right, but I'm prepared to die. So,
I just figure if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it, you know.
Well, we're all gonna die someday. A friend of mine's really fearful of it, and I tell her, well, we're all gonna die someday, but if you're gonna get it, then you're gonna go to heaven faster, but don't worry about it. I mean, it's.
I don't think that's a good attitude to have. I think that you have to be cautious.
Oh, you do, you do.
You have to take
Yes.
precautions and wear a mask where you know that you're around people that you don't know where they've been.
and there's many benefits.
Right.
From
Many
the
benefits.
wearing the mask,
Right.
people washing their hands, the social
Right.
distancing.
The social distancing.
It's very beneficial,
Right.
physically, but emotionally, spiritually, that can bring us into a completely different direction.
Well, and I've heard too what Samantha's heard, that you have no faith if you wear a mask. Well, let me ask you this. So do you have no faith if you wait for a car that's coming down the street before you walk across the street? Or are you gonna walk right out in front of the car because you have faith? See, that kind of an attitude doesn't make sense.
I did that today. I walked right across the street, my truck was coming, because I figured he'd stop. That's faith, he stopped.
Oh, yeah,
And
you
that-
have to have faith to.
And that plays into the same, for healing. If someone doesn't get healed, you don't have faith to get healed.
That's right.
It's your fault.
Well, how do you get those people that are that stubborn, that won't even wear a mask? They, not even if it's required in a certain store, and they need to go to that store, but they find out they need to wear a mask, they walk out and say, no, thank you, I won't do,
Well,
That's their choice.
And you have to realize,
from that store.
masks affect people differently.
Well,
Right.
right,
Now-
but if the
now
store
I-
requires it and you need to get something, you
Like
waste
it-
your
So
time.
I went to
Someplace
Menards
else.
today, and,
Yeah.
can't even remember where I got this other mask, an N95 mask, very, thick white one.
Oh, we got that at work.
And, I put that on, and by the time I went out, I was
Well,
You know,
I work for
already
6
passed
hours,
out.
I work for about 6 hours of work.
but see, different people are affected differently.
Well,
My girlfriend now, she says, that mask don't work, that mask don't work. And she says, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And I says, well, Elaine, if you're gonna keep on saying you don't want to die, you're gonna worry yourself to death.
Right?
And
Very good.
I get kind of mad at her, sometimes I hang up on her because I get so mad at her when she keeps on saying that. But I says, mask does work because I have it on, and a lot of people in the subway, Quick Trip has it on, and they said, thank you for wearing your mask. I said, you're welcome.
well, I went to Dollar General yesterday to get a few things, and there was it looked like a grandma and a grandpa, and their little granddaughter. She was probably maybe about 5, 6. She had a mask on, but the grandparents didn't. But it was so cute, Maybe she thought she needed to. Didn't ask them. They were in another aisle, but I happened to see.
Well, a lot
She
of
was wearing one,
people,
but not.
a lot of people are immune compromised that are not old.
Right.
I mean, we are high risk because we're older. But there's young people who have asthma and other
Yeah.
conditions that they're gonna be affected if they get it. So,
Right.
so it's only, God gave us brains.
Yeah.
And this is a good time to use them.
I remember, I think it was Ben Franklin, or one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, made a statement. He goes, we have to hang together, or for certainly, we're gonna hang separately. And, they just started talking now about these bubbles, that, now, your family those are your bubbles. You know, they're,
Hanging
you know, your
together.
social compromise,
Mhm.
but you're hanging together. And if we try to go out by ourselves, you know, that's where they would literally hang
Right,
separately.
right.
Sometimes you gotta face your fears too.
Sometimes what?
You gotta face your fears.
Yes, and that, you know, goes back to, you know, the fear of dying. Now, we as Christians, we shouldn't have the fear of dying. Now,
We're going.
Now, we have the fear of the process of dying. But, you know, for us, it's a promotion. Now, how do you talk to non-believers like that? I can't wait for my promotion. Now, coronavirus, I get there a little earlier. Now, you know, I've got to die sometimes. There's going to be a process in dying. It's not going to always be enjoyable. But the rewards are great. So, and if we can listen to what the Word of God says, you know, I forget how, I think it's like over 1,000 times where it says, fear not,
Right,
fear not.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly,
In terrible situations, it says, fear not.
right.
Oh, I think if people would listen to this book, and read this book, than listening to all the news all the time and whatever, you know, Joe Blow or Dan Rather says, you'd be a lot better off, you know?
Right?
They'd listen to everything and take it so literally, you know, and then they're fearful, oh no, this is happening now.
Yeah.
But it has affected a lot of people adversely.
Oh,
Yeah, a
yes.
lot of
You
people
know,
lost
the
their homes.
economy, the close downs, the children are really being affected because they're not, you know, together with their friends, and in some cases their grandma and grandpas and, you know, different people even in their bubble are being kept apart
Right, because-
because of the risk.
yeah.
Their intelligence is being stolen. They're not, you know,
Well, they
being
were
allowed
saying that
to.
they lost
to
about half a
educate.
year of school, and if they don't open next year, it'll be a full year that they've, you know, literally lost of that
You know,
education.
that's like in Cameroon now. This is the 5th year where on those 5 years the schools have been mostly closed down because of the ghost town days, Amber Boys. They don't allow schools because, and that is because they are trying to teach French, and the population speaks English, and so that's where a lot of the fight was.
Wow.
The fighting over the language. Oh,
They're talking about opening up the schools this fall, but it's gonna be restrictions.
Yeah.
Small classes
so many days.
and mask and distance,
Yeah,
6 feet.
6 feet, yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do the distancing, that I gotta see with all those kids in school.
Well,
Well,
they're
then-
only gonna have them come in part of the week, and then the other group comes in the other part of the week, which is just chaos for parents.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
parents have to go back to work. If you're a single
Right.
parent or both parents are working,
Yep.
who's gonna be taking it over? Grandma and grandpa who are retired here? You know, I'm just using examples. Grandma and grandpa that are retired are
Yeah,
gonna
our
wanna do
grandma
that.
and grandpas were doing it last spring, and they're gonna be doing it again.
Again, you know, your kids, grandkids are grown up, but if you had to, like, their parents were working and you had to do the homeschooling,
And, you know, you look at how much destruction there's been, as a result of the coronavirus. You know, I mean, you know, not the coronavirus itself, you know, by the lost jobs,
Right.
suicides, you know, they skyrocketed, the murders,
Divorce rates are up,
oh, yeah.
depression and suicide, they go together.
Samantha, what do you think the devil thinks of it?
Well, he's having a heyday with the whole thing. If he can take, you know, people out that are Christians or whatever, or are just coming to the Lord, or, you know, whatever, or taking anybody out before you or I or Wanda or whoever could get to them, to speak to them about the Lord, he'll do it. So I think he's laughing, and the Lord is maybe crying a little bit, but he's laughing. He's definitely laughing, and he's just having a heyday because he's like, good, I got someone else taken out now Alan can't go talk to that guy at this one place in Independence because he's dead now, or whatever it is.
Right.
He took him out, or he wiped him out, and, you know.
Did God do this or did the devil do it?
I think the devil did it.
Did God make the devil?
The devil did it.
This stuff came from the devil, but God is allowing it for some reason.
Well, it's like Jesus and the crucifixion. A terrible thing. You think the worst thing in the world, how could anything good come out of it? And you look what happened. Now you read like some of those non-canonical books, they talk about Jesus going to hell. And that now there's Satan and there's Beelzebub. You know, Beelzebub.
Yeah.
And so, what happened was, Jesus comes and breaks the gates of the hell open. Beelzebub was the prince of hell. He is very upset at Satan. How could you do this? and he was caught blindsided. And what Satan thought was a victory was his destruction.
There are reports, which you'll never hear on the news media, of revivals going on in this country. Many, many people are coming to the Lord through this and through the riots and the protests are coming to the Lord. So we have to hang on to that. Sometimes we need to hear a positive report. If we don't hear anything else, we need to hear a positive report. But this is going on.
You know, it's here, and it's not going, it's not going away anytime soon. I mean, it's here.
Just one person that I have heard, Greg Laurie, who's on the radio, and he has an online program of some kind, service, maybe, I don't know. He gets hundreds of calls for salvation. People are calling and wanting to
I like him.
get connected to this Jesus. That's just one person.
Right.
So, plus, look at the online services that have been put on because people could not have church for quite a while.
So that was the next question. What do you think this is doing to the church? I mean, our church.
Well, I know where she goes, they said they're not open till September.
No,
But
that isn't what he's asking.
Oh, what are you asking?
Has there been good, the good and the bad?
Oh,
What's been good about it?
no.
Right,
Good about it being closed?
Well, the church
Nothing.
got out of the sanctuary.
yes,
What?
that's a
Church
big
got
one.
out of the sanctuary.
Because some of these revivals, meetings and things like that are going on in the streets.
Well, we weren't
So,
having any of those around
question.
Trumbull County, were we?
Question is it a judgment?
What she just said.
Is it a judgment on the church?
They just had a tent meeting up at Osseo for
Where?
I think
When was
that,
that? I should have went.
the church on the right-hand side before you go into
Oh,
Osseo.
when was that?
Baptist
You
church.
Oh,
know,
wow.
Ezekiel 38.
yeah, let's talk about
It
it.
was like
The
3-4
judge-
days it was going on.
Judgment on the shepherds. You're not taking care of my sheep.
Wow.
I'm going to take them away from you. I'll feed them myself.
I think overall, it shook up the Christians.
Mhm.
It has shaken us all up. And we've been on our knees much more. People have been praying that I never imagined would be praying. And so all of these things are good. When the pressure is on, when the pressure is on, you either run from God or you turn to Him. And
Wow, yeah.
so this is one of those things, and what can we do about this virus except pray? And what can we do about the protests and the riots and the destruction of property but pray? That God will intervene, that the truth will come out, you know?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we need to do during all this is make ourselves available. I mean, as Christians, to both believers and non-believers alike. Now, I'm picking up an old hobby, metal detecting. So, and I'm thinking about, I'm gonna do this metal detecting on going out east. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna make a big sign and put something like, I really enjoy blessing people and praying for them. Is there anything you would like to be blessed with today? Something like that.
Finding stuff.
We're all blessed because we haven't got COVID-19 yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we haven't had any.
on my trip out west, I prayed for people, Spanish people in restaurants, there's one lady, when I asked her what I could pray for, first thing, pray for finances in the restaurant. And so then she sees my hat a little later, she made a comment about it. And so, I said, do you have any physical pain? And, I've got, shoulder pain. Just put your arms out like this. And I pray for her shoulders, and she checks all her pains out. She just started crying. But there's people afraid of losing their businesses. You
Right.
see all kinds
Pray
of,
for somebody today for free.
And with good
Yes.
reason. I mean, when you close down for this amount of length of time,
Well, yeah,
And-
it's tough.
and now these little restaurants, they're posting, for sale, 40,000, basement steel.
I don't know.
And you're seeing that, all across the country.
Right.
They're
Yeah, we're living out there.
They're afraid they're afraid that they're gonna have another depression.
Right.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Depression?
We really need, all the Christians in this country are on their knees. Something will happen, good,
Yeah.
and that's what we need to do is pray, be on our knees.
Yep, God answers an email.
We can't,
An email, I like it.
Yep, an email.
Right.
An email. Like that.
But anyway, yeah. Well, this one guy, some state I saw on internet, that he was a barber, but he was, he couldn't be open, so he was doing hair. Basically, he had a little window next to where, the shampooer and the washing stuff. So he was doing hair out through the window and had a bench there, and people were, in, and he was able to do the
Right.
hair right through there, so he wasn't like, exposed to anything but the hair and the whatever here.
Yeah.
And he was able to do that, and then they paid him through the window and gave him a tip and whatever, and went on the way. It was
Well,
like,
yeah, now they have these masks that have little flaps so they can stick a straw through it.
well, Charity showed something on Facebook where some guy was eating, and he had like an N95 mask, but he had taken and made it so he hooked it to his spoon or his fork so he could eat, and then when he was done, he put it down and it would close and then open up.
but do you really think that mask is effective?
I don't know what it got to.
Just stop and think about it.
I don't think so though, really, but it was kind of clever and cute, the little video, yeah.
I don't think Christians are still taking it seriously.
Now, you can
Why
go
not? Why not?
from its extremes. I know some people, even, some relatives of mine, they had went out on a cruise when all this started, but then they've been quarantined, self-quarantined, for 5 months, and now they're up in Wisconsin, and they're still quarantined, but afraid of contact with people.
Well,
Yes, that's what I said, there's a tremendous amount of fear. But that's not gonna take you anywhere, except down, you know,
Yeah.
isolated. Probably won't get the virus if you don't go anywhere. But the whole fear thing is unnecessary.
Well, one lady in our
And the
building.
quality of life has went way down.
Yeah,
You know, in their situation, they, you know, close friends that they hung around with, you know, now they fought over how they responded, you know,
Well,
and now they hate each other because
right, well, I know,
how they're responding.
When I first wearing a mask, and I went to a quick trip, and it was two guys pointing at me and laughing at me and thought that that was funny. And I says, what is so funny? You know? And I said, I'm trying to be healthy.
right. Yeah, anyone who's high risk, Mary, you're older,
And I
should
should
wear
wear
a mask in
diabetic.
public. Yeah, right, oh, yeah, absolutely. That's different than isolating yourself, what he's talking about, and
Right.
not going out at all.
Right.
Right,
Some of them don't go out no place. I mean,
right.
don't get food or anything, and
Yeah.
their covers are bare because they don't go and get food
Yeah,
because
and what
they're
they-
so afraid.
They had their food delivered, you know, they didn't go
Well,
out
and
at
it's
all.
really nice that you can have your food delivered.
you can't do
If there are
that here.
people who
Right.
are immune
Why
compromised,
we get like,
Walmart now is starting it.
oh, so they'll deliver way down to here?
yeah.
And
Way
now,
down
you
here?
know, Amazon, you can order all
Oh,
your
we-
stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we have people in Green Bay,
Yeah.
Milwaukee, you can order anything and everything
I
from,
can order anything off an Amazon.
absolutely.
So now a question we can ask
Yeah,
is, as a Christian, how can we calm your fears?
well, I really don't have any fears, you know, it's just, you know,
Well, let's say, that you're not a Christian. And
okay, before I was a Christian, I would have been
What-
like
no,
very fearful.
just think about what type of fear somebody would have about the coronavirus,
Well,
if you weren't a Christian.
if I wasn't a Christian, I sure wouldn't be sitting like this close to Brian or to Mary, because I'd be afraid I'd get it, and then, or they'd give it to me, and then I would die, and then I would, you know, and all this other stuff. I sure wouldn't be
There's a lot
doing
of,
that,
there's a lot
because
of
I know,
unknowns.
well, right,
You know, I talked to a guy today, they had over half of his team was positive, and they were off a few days, and they're all back to work now.
Well, some of them were quarantined for 2 weeks
Yeah, but they're all,
because they tested
Nobody
positive,
got-
but they
Yeah.
didn't get it.
sick.
And then, you know, the numbers have went up, you know, like, Florida, they've tested more than 10%, more than 2.1 million
the
people.
numbers have to go up.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
you know,
No
and,
matter what, when they open up again, if they close it down again and they open it up again, it's gonna go up because you're home and you're staying safe, but then when it opens up, people go out and eat and stuff, will go up again. So no matter what you do, it's gonna go up, right?
Yep.
because I have a friend whose mother and boyfriend went out to eat, they went to the Dells, they live in Madison, but she doesn't drive, but he does, so they drove to the Dells and went out to eat, the only buffet open, the Ponderosa, and I'm like, oh boy, you know, I had that little bit of a fear, like, you know, I'm thinking I'm never gonna go to buffets again, if there was a buffet open, even a salad bar, I wouldn't wanna eat it because it's open, you know, but maybe that's my fear, because that's the first thing I thought when my friend told me that her mom and boyfriend, his mom and boyfriend went to Ponderosa to eat.
So,
respected, but I don't think we should sit there and tremble in our boots because of it. I mean, you try, they say distance helps, and, you know, use some precaution and just be kind of smart about it. You don't go into a great big area that is known for a problem spot.
You know, and as a Christian, I mean, now, I don't want to sound like I'm opportunist, but, you know, just like the Lord says, you know, I hold my hand all day long with stiff-necked and obstinate people. You know, me as a Christian, you know, I want to make myself available for someone because there's new opportunities for ministry. But I don't need to push the ministry on anybody. When somebody is ready, you know, then they'll come in. You know, and even, you know, even in ministry as far as missions and things like that, you know, it's moving away from the bigger church meetings, you know, to smaller meetings. You know, I'm going to be meeting with a number of people in their houses on my trip this coming week. And it's, you know, much more intimate, individual.
Right. But you were saying it's getting harder to set up meetings because everybody's fearful, they don't want to do it. But you know of 2 people that are doing them now, right?
Right, they're just starting.
Yeah, the
You know, some of
places.
the countries are starting to open up.
So that's why you can't get any started, they're fearful, right?
Yep. So,
Well, you can do something like if you know somebody that needs their groceries delivered. I mean, there's 100 different ways to evangelize.
right,
And
Oh,
you
right.
can take them their groceries and talk to them and do that week after week. You can do that. You can have a little house meeting with somebody who is comfortable with it.
right.
Because if there's only like 5 or 6 people there, they can pretty much distance. And you know, with somebody you know, there's all kinds of possibilities if you're open to them.
Yep. And you know, there again, make yourself available.
Right.
You know, there's been like, you know, one of the churches that I've worked with down near Madison, you know, things have changed there. You know, the one pastor retired, and you know, we might do some meetings at Josh's house.
Yeah.
But through all this, there's new opportunities. New opportunities to minister, new opportunities to hear people's pain or struggle or trauma, and make yourself available to deal with that trauma. So I think we'll wrap up this part and we'll go from there. So thank you very much.